R&B diva Rosie Gaines. She's up next. Let's talk. What's up, everybody? Welcome back over here to Peppy's Point of View. I'm your host, your R&B historian, Peppy. Let's just dive right into it. Oh my, we're talking about R&B diva Rosie Gaines, and I just finished listening to her album, the first album, Caring. I just finished listening to it. And I didn't want to go into all the regular smuggler that I go into because I just don't feel like doing it. And I don't know, maybe I will talk about some controversial issues or some things. I don't know. And all of this comes from just the album that I just heard, the Caring album. First of all, if it's true, and I don't know if it's true, I remember reading maybe about a month or two ago that maybe Rosie Gaines, she, is having some health issues. I don't know what there are, but she's having some health complications. I also read that maybe, and this is alleged, by the way, because I don't know if it's true, was what I was reading or read somebody post somewhere. Maybe she's not, her housing is also, questionable as well. I just said that way. And, over here, I only focus on music. That's all I focus on. Every now and then, as I told you before, I might dish out the dirt on who dropped, kicked who in these entertainment streets, literally and figuratively speaking at times. But it's only when I just think that I want to talk about some things that I can, add some, shed some light up on. Sorry. Well, let's talk about why I'm having all of these emotions. Now, you might dislike me for saying this, and it is what it is. It's an opinion. It's definitely not a fact, or it's my perspective. I have gone back maybe about a year ago, just been about a year ago, and I listened to Prince's first album all the way up, the first album. It's not all his entire catalog, but all the way up until I guess he started the Revolution. I know Prince is no longer with us, but I will say this, okay, as it relates to Prince. I never thought Prince was a great musician. It's just what it is. I never thought he was a great musician. In my opinion, I think that Rick James is a better guitar player. That's just me personally. I really and truly do. When Prince first came out, he wanted to do everything from what media reports have, said, articles that I've read over the years. He wanted to do everything. He was pretty much like a one-man show. And I think the label encouraged him to work with different musicians, but he just really was like, I'm not doing that. Okay. And when you look at it right in the moment, you can go like, oh wow, he does everything. This guy, he's all that in a bag of chips, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a genius and so on and so forth. Understandable. I mean, if you can do all those things, you got to be really and truly, you know what I'm saying, top of your craft, right? Gifted, prodigy, whatever you want to call it. But when you listen to Prince's earlier music, and then you start listening to him with the Revolution, then you started listening to when you would listen to his music with the New Power Generation. This is me personally. I'm just going to say, Prince finally taken that advice to find himself among musicians who are probably better than he is, okay? Or finding himself working with musicians who are talented with their instrument, whether if that's vocally or with an actual instrument. Surrounding yourself with some talented people who are probably just as talented, if not equally as talented, just as talented as you are. And I think that's what we get. We get the Prince that we so admire today because he finally found himself around great musicians. That's it. And I'm sticking to it. It's just my opinion. As I said, it's not fact. Some of you guys probably go around and say, oh, he's this, that, and the other in a bag of chips. And I understand it because, of course, I was one of those individuals who was, pretty much digging Prince, with the Purple Rain and Under the Cherry Moon and all of that stuff. He's got great songs that he, wrote. But I'm talking about right now that the sound that is Prince, okay? What does that have to do with Rosie Gaines? Well, I want to kind of give you an idea of what's going on in my mind and what's going on within me emotionally as I listen to Rosie Gaines' first album. I'm like, this woman is like top notch. I'm literally saying this to myself as I'm listening to it. I mean, this lady is top notch, and I'm going to review, as I usually do, the album track by track. It's like, wow. Then as I'm getting towards the end of the album, and I'm saying, with the first album now, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, and I guess this is why I'm full of emotion. I'm saying, this is exactly what I have been saying since I started reviewing, on this channel, R&B divas, that I, like, and then just R&B divas in general. I'm saying this is the part where I say, how did we miss this one? How did we miss this one? Well, what do you say? How did we miss this one? Because towards the end of the album, I'm listening to some music that I would say, and when I say the less, because there's some bonus tracks. So I would say, listening to, okay, there's a song on the album called What Are We Coming To? And then there's a song called Innocent Girl. And as I am winding down listening to this album, I'm saying to myself, these are like great pop songs. Like if this is pop and rock and roll, if it fits into pop and rock and roll, these would be the songs. That's what I'm saying to myself. And I'm like, how did the record company miss this opportunity? Now, this is when we are going to throw out a couple of things. Number one, she's on Epic Records, right? It's Epic Records, so she's signed to a major label. Two, I guess you could say it says here it gives Don Cornelius producer's credit along with Rosie Gaines. So you have that in itself, I guess, working for her, even though Don Cornelius had to, kind of knock down doors, just for what he was trying to do with, Soul Train and Solo Records. That's a whole nother story. But you have what I would consider to be these pop songs, great pop rock and roll songs. And everything is there. The voice is there. The production is there. I mean, there's a message in her music. As a matter of fact, there's a message in all of her songs pretty much, on this album. And I'm saying, like, why didn't it happen? Is it the politics of the record companies? Is it the politics of the music industry? Is it that we're talking about an R&B diva? And when I'm saying R&B diva, I'm talking about a black female. Like, it's just not happening. Like, she has it, okay? As far as the vocals, as far as the sound quality, she has it. Okay, when I think about the album cover, I'm saying to myself, okay, well, the album cover, is probably not pushed towards, I guess, what you want to call pop audiences or what have you. But the sound is definitely there, and the music is definitely there. The production, everything is there. Is it skin color? And then if it's skin color, or if it's not skin color, is it that she's a female too? Is it that she just doesn't have the right team, on her side to help her get to what we would call that level in her career? Is it all kinds of conspiracy theories that are out there? Is it that? It's interesting. It's interesting. And I had no idea that Rosie Gaines, she had such a, she had this, all of this music, in her catalog. She released all of these albums. I didn't know that. Now, how well they did on the charts or whatever, and she released them independently or through independent companies, it is what it is. But she has released a lot of music. You just scratch your head. You go like, whoa. I'm interested in listening to her entire catalog now, just to see what it is. What I'm going to get, because from the time I heard her, I've learned of Rosie Gaines is with the New Power Generation with Prince and NPG. Diamonds and Pearls. I think it was back in 1991 when that album was released. And to be quite honest with you, even though he had some, I think it was Get Off, Cream was on there, but Diamonds and Pearls for me was the go-to track on that album. And Rosie Gaines definitely, overshadowed Prince. Honestly, I mean, I'm not, trying to make this like all about her, so to speak, and say Prince it wasn't a great song and all that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I guess what I'm trying to convey to, those who are watching or would watch, what I'm conveying is that she is singing that chorus with him. And it's kind of like that moment that she got. she she performed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how some people were probably, you know, they have a cameo in a movie, and when it was like, hey, this is my moment, I'm going to shine, right? And everybody remember that person in that movie because of what was said or what was done in just that split second, right? And for me, that's what it would be with Rosie Gaines. Like, the previous albums she put out, okay. But now here she is. I guess you could say Prince gave her this platform, if you will, to showcase her talent. And boom, baby, did we get the full, range of her just with that one song period. And everybody knows Rosie Gaines from that song Diamonds and Pearls, right? Well, there is a song in her catalog. There's a song here on her album. When I listen to it, there's a song called I've Gone Too Far. I want you to listen to it. Listen to the song I've Gone Too Far on the album Caring, from the album Caring, and you tell me if that's not Diamonds and Pearls. Tell me if that's not Diamonds and Pearls. What are you saying? I'm going back to my original opinion, perspective, point of view, and that is Prince finally got it that I need to surround myself with some people who, I guess, have my sound, who understands what it is that I'm trying to do from a musical perspective, because Prince definitely, when he came across Rosie Gaines, listening to this album, and let's just say she is not affiliated with Prince, like she's not inspired by Prince or anything like that on this album. And I promise you, just by listening to this album, you can go like, yes, there's a lot of Prince influence on this album, with Prince not even being there, or her or Rosie not even being inspired by Prince. I go back to the song I've Gone Too Far, which reminds me of Diamonds and Pearls. And if you listen to another song on this album called Frustration, it reminds me a little bit of Let's Go Crazy. Not only that, another thing that I can see Prince reaching out to Rosie Gaines for, another reason, is if Prince heard this album, then there is the message. What Rosie Gaines is talking about in this album, all of the things that she's talking about, right? And all of the things that we know Prince will eventually, write about as well. To me, it's like, you get it. Now, I'm not quite sure if Rosie Gaines wrote any of the songs on the album at all. But if in fact she did, then there's definitely a message that Prince also, was like, she's definitely someone who I can connect with, who understands me musically and I understand her musically. It's just what it is. And I go back to that rock and that pop influence that I get in her music. And Prince is definitely trying to do what rock and pop, and every now and then, he might play around with a little bit of R&B, but she gets it. There's also something else that I pick up on when I'm listening to her album, as I'm listening to it. There's a song on her album, and the song is called Schoolology, which I believe is the first single. I think it should have been another single, should have been the first single. But the first single, and I think the only single to be released from this album, is called Schoolology. When I heard the song for the first time, I'm listening to it and I'm saying to myself, oh my gosh, Shaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, or Vesta would eat this song up. So I'm thinking, like when I'm listening to it, probably more Shaka Khan than Patti LaBelle, right? But that's where I'm going. You know, I'm saying to myself, okay, I got some Shaka Khan, I got some Patti LaBelle going on this track. And with I've gone too far, I'm thinking a little bit of a Betty Wright as well. So Shaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, Vesta, and Betty Wright. You better believe me. If you disagree with me on this one, it's just you just not want to give me, like you don't want to understand me. But these are those vocals. Come on now, you have to agree. Patti LaBelle, Vesta, Shaka Khan, and Betty Wright. This her. That's it. She's in that category of divas, vocally. And like I said, I'm so full of emotions, and when I'm saying I don't know why, I do know why. I know why because I'm saying to myself, like, gosh, like, wow, like this is amazing. Like, it's amazing. And let's go ahead on this, as A'ngela Winbush would say, call a thing a thing, and when we're talking about Prince, and, I just, did one, a video on Vanity, 2 videos regarding Vanity. But a lot of people have said who have worked with Prince have also said, like, hey, brother didn't give us our due. He didn't give us our due. He didn't. I'm not going to use the term pay us what we were worth, but he didn't pay us. Or, we didn't get, we did a lot of things and didn't get a lot of credit for. It's what it is. I'm just saying, here's where I'm going with this. I'm going with this because I guess had she received the credit that she received, and I'm focusing this more from a musical standpoint. I'm talking about a career standpoint right now. We would be talking about what, a different Rosie Gaines? It's just you want to cry, weep, shake your head, like, like really, and all of this from one album. I feel like I'm doing my Phyllis Hyman thing all over again. And I guess what I'm saying in this video is that she has the goods. So let's review the album. We're almost in the 30-minute mark. So let's just go ahead and review the album. Okay. So the first single, Dance All Night Long. When I hear it, it's different to me. I can't really place this song in a category, but I'm thinking it's more like maybe like a techno type of song midway through. And also I'm getting the feel like, okay, I think she wants to let loose and kind of soar throughout the track. And so what I'm getting with this song, the first track, Dance All Night Long, I'm thinking she's just kind of teasing us a little bit vocally. And I'm also picking up on, a Karen Wheeler type vibe, even though this is 1986 and Karen Wheeler, it's not out at the moment, but I'm picking up a Karen Wheeler type vibe from her. And also too, I'm thinking about this song, and I think this way about a few other songs on this album as well. And some of the songs on this album seems as if they didn't make the pop charts, that's fine. If they didn't make the pop charts. But it seems like some of these songs on this album fits really well, fits well on soundtracks, movie soundtracks, you know, like those popular movie soundtracks back in the day. Um, like Beat Street, Breaking, maybe some popular movies back in the day that, you know, was, like I said, popular back in the day. You know, a prime example, I'm reaching over here, just so happen I have these out. Like Beat Street and Breaking. Yeah, like I told you, well, Beat Street and Breaking. Like these type movies, like you would think that some of these songs would have easily been placed in some of these movies, you know, Crush Groove. That's what I'm going with. And I'm also thinking about, oh, what's the name of the, oh, it's not the Brat Pack. What is the name of those? Oh, what's the name of it? Is it the Brat Pack? Back in the day, the 16 Candles. Who was they back in the day? Yeah, 16 Candles, right? Back in the day, some of those movies. I'm thinking about these songs could have easily, some of these songs on this album could have been easily placed in movies by the Brat Pack, Emilio Estevez, not Antonio, but Anthony Hall and Rob Lowe and Andrew McCarthy, Demi Moore, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, you know, Ali Sheedy, you know, those people. I think, and I could have missed some people out of the Brat Pack. But anyway, you remember those, like I said, 16 Candles type movies. And what was the other one? 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club. You know, those types of movies. Some of these songs could have been placed. As a matter of fact, when I listened to another song on this album, it's called What Are We Coming To? I immediately think of Jumpin' Jack Flash. You know, I'm like, this song could have been great on a Jumpin' Jack Flash soundtrack when the opening song, I think, is called Set Me Free. That was recorded by the Pointer Sisters. I think I recall maybe too that Renee and A'ngela also did a version of Set Me Free as well. But yeah, that song, What Are We Coming To, could have easily been, you know, on the movie soundtrack of Jumpin' Jack Flash. So it's a lot of things that's on this album that I really and truly think is like movie favorable, and pop and rock. It really is. It's like I said, I'm just at a loss. You know, why wasn't she? It's what it is. We're gonna move right along. And then, as I told you before about I've Gone Too Far, you know, that song reminds me of Diamonds and Pearls, so on and so forth. The next song, Schoolology, I like it. Reminds me of Shaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, and Vesta. But there's a song on here, if I listen to it in this correct order, there's a song called Caring. Oh my gosh. I wanted this song so much to be like a power ballad. Like, it's a great song. It's my favorite song on the album, Caring, the title of the album, and also a track on the album. It's my favorite, and I just wanted her to let loose, let go on this album. I feel like she wanted to, but it seems like for whatever reason they contained it, you know, and only teased us with it a little bit. But I think this could have been, you know, her signature ballad song if, you know, they went into that direction, definitely. Of course, the song Frustration reminds me of Let's Go Crazy by Prince. And at this moment, I'm saying to myself, I see why Prince asked her to join NPG. Then the track 6, a song called Wake Up. When I hear it and it first comes on, I'm thinking about Barry White, and I don't know why. I'm like, okay, this might be a Barry White song here, you know. But then as I started listening to it and listening to the message of the song, I'm like, okay, Wake Up could easily be like a Bob Marley or a Stevie Wonder song that Bob Marley or Stevie Wonder could have recorded this song. And in my head, I'm saying Wake Up should have been the first single, right? And then the album continues to flow, and it is what it is. I like the entire album. I like the entire album. No doubt about it. We can't deny it. That there are artists in the entertainment industry, even when we, now I'm talking about like Taraji P. Henson and what's the lady name? Excuse me. Monique and other artists, especially R&B divas, talk about the frustration that they have, when it comes to their careers. And it's a shame because everyone is talking about crossing over, right? Crossing over, and lo and behold, if you just so happen to cross over, then it's kind of like you're a sellout, right? It's interesting. It's interesting. But then when you go over to like, you look at the UK charts and it's kind of like, oh no, everything is not chopped up like that. Like, what it is, you on the, it's not chopped up that way on the charts, for the most part. Oh, wow. It's interesting. So I guess the controversial thing would be, talking about, Rosie Gaines at this moment in time, at least for me, would be the fact that here you have, okay, let's just call a thing a thing. Here you have an R&B diva who definitely has the potential of transcending race, crossing over, being embraced by white and black audiences. Let's just call it for what it is. And this album didn't happen for her in that way. I'm just saying. It's interesting. Interesting. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Like I said, this is just kind of the mood I'm in. I didn't want to go through all the other things. It's just kind of the mood. I don't know. I think I'm going to listen to her another album of hers. Probably not now. I think this is it for the evening. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna listen to another album so I can get a better take on where I'm going, I guess, with this Rosie Gaines career, because the way I'm feeling about Rosie Gaines is the kind of the emotions that I'm feeling with Rochelle Farrell, that I'm feeling with I felt with Phyllis Hyman. Is there any other diva that I could think of maybe feeling the same way? Not right now. And so maybe there's a trend here in this, with these divas that I'm, just kind of noticing in their music and in their careers. And it's kind of like, yeah. Yeah. Well, pray for their families, as well as Rochelle Farrell, and Rosie Gaines, Phyllis Hyman's family, Just pray for them. Keep them in your prayers, All right, well, you already know what I'm about to say if been here with me, right? Yeah, I know. And on that note, I want you to remember to put your behind where your heart desires to be. I would like to think that's what these ladies did. And sometimes when you put your behind where your heart desires to be, sometimes you can surround yourself with people you can be surrounded by some people who don't want your behind to be there. What are we going to do with her? It's like, seriously. But whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And I think that that's what you need to learn at all times and know at all times. When you put your behind where your heart desires to be, remember that you are loved and God loves you best. Wow, I never thought about it that way. Thank you. Well, I look forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you know what to do. Take care of yourselves out.